Welcome to the Mom Squared podcast. I'm Faith Denner.
And I'm Bekah Denner.
We are sister-in-laws and your hosts. We are so excited to tackle the topic of motherhood from the perspective of two women raising 3 kids, 3 and under. So let's get started. All right, welcome back to the Mom Squared podcast. Today we're going to be discussing some emotional and physical hardships that come with having twins in Bekah's case, or Irish twins in my case. First, we want to share with you some mom fails that we've gone through recently. Do you want to start or do you want me to?
I can.
Okay.
It's fine. Yeah. Okay, so one of the biggest fails I can think of recently was we just went up to Indiana, Illinois, and Wisconsin for a trip. And usually I overpack, and so I was like, I'm not going to overpack this time. Like, it's not going to happen. And I was like rushing to get everything done because we had all been sick, and then like we were trying to go to Dollywood before for the boys' belated birthday. So I packed in a rush. I couldn't really find any of their socks because my closet currently is just like filled with all of our clothes. If they're everywhere, we haven't had time to like put them away. And I couldn't really find socks, so I just was like, oh, like 6 in total is fine. It's like 3 each. Well, I didn't think about the fact that like my kids would be wearing shoes a lot, and their feet smelled so bad. And we were in a hotel for the first 4 days. So not only did they not have enough socks, we also didn't look at the temperatures because I was like, it's March and April. Like, it's not that cold because down here was going to be like 80 on Easter. So I did manage to actually pack them jackets. So there was that, but they weren't like super warm ones. And it was freezing.
Oh,
the first
no.
4 days were like 30 something degrees. I was frozen. Like, I didn't pack anything warm either. So yeah, that was my mom fail, was not really preparing for the temperatures that we were going to and not bringing enough socks.
I feel like that's hard when you live in southern states to like think about the weather, because even when I have known about the weather before, I've gone up there and been like, it's way cooler than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Well, you look at the number and it's like 40. It's like, oh, that's not that bad. But then you get up there and there's wind. And then the wind is what kills you. And
Yes.
It's like freezing.
Yeah. So my mom fail is actually kind of an auntie fail. It's kind of a mixture of both. I was taking care of my nieces and nephews, and I decided I was going to be brave and take them all to a playground. So this is 6 kids, all 5 and under, and I decided to take them to a playground. And I brought myself a coffee that was 2 of those Starbucks Frappuccinos in the glass jars. Like, I just poured them into a cup. And I brought it with me. Well, then my friend met me at the playground and she surprised me with a Starbucks drink. So I didn't need that coffee, so I just left it in the car door. I knew the kids couldn't get to it, getting in and out. I was watching it, so I knew it was safe. It was fine. Then everything was fine. We had a great time at the playground. We packed them all back into the minivan. I drive home. And when I get home, my niece is holding the cup. And I looked at her and I was like, oh, did you drink that? And she looked at me and she was like, well, you drank the other coffee, so you didn't need it. And I picked it up. The whole thing was empty. She drank 16 ounces of coffee within 5 minutes because it's a 5-minute car drive to the playground. She drank 16 ounces of coffee in like 5 minutes.
Was she like wired?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She was on the couch running back and forth. I have videos. She's just like running back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And she's a very quiet and sweet and like mild-tempered girl. So it was really funny to see her like that. Okay, but now that we've talked about the fails, I do want to talk about the encouraging side of motherhood. If you want to start with a little bit of encouragement that you've had happen recently, go ahead.
Yeah. So recently we've been really working on the boys mainly. Like Maddie, she's still kind of little and she's usually pretty good about saying please and not just tacking it on. So Matt has taught the boys and Maddie that they don't get what they want until they say please. And so usually that's him pausing, and they will know when he pauses and like doesn't give them that, and after they said something they go please and they get it. So the last few weeks we've really been working on them saying it, because like they can, they're old enough, so they have to say like, mommy, I want blah 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 please, all in one thing. And so it's been hard because they're just constantly like, what, whatever, just like fussing about it. And so I'm like, okay, no, like let's start from the beginning. So they'll say mommy, they're like mommy, it's like I want, and it's like this sandwich, and it's like please, like please. And recently we're still working on them doing it with us, like they've done it a few times, but like if we don't, we say start from the beginning and they know what we mean and they say it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been really cute listening to them interact with each other. And they'll be like, Matthew, can I have blah 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 please? And it's just so
Aww.
cute, like seeing them do what we've been teaching them, like to each other, just in every day, and knowing that it's like they're learning it, not just like, oh, we need to do this for mommy and daddy. It's like, oh, this is what we do.
Yeah.
So that's been encouraging, because I, feel like sometimes if you keep doing things, you're like, we're not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah. So.
Yeah. Along those same kind of lines, we've been working with the kids on holding hands in public spaces so that they don't like leave me. Mia has always kind of been a runner. Like we will get out in public and she'll just bolt. And so we've been really working on that with her. And so we make her hold Joey's hand because Joey is obedient. So if we say, Joey, stop, he'll stop and he'll hold her hand and she won't go anywhere. So I hold hands with Joey and Joey holds hands with her. And recently she has stopped bolting. She's completely stopped running away. And then we were at church and we were in the parking lot and Mia started to run and she stopped herself and she said, no, I can't do that. And Joey said, yeah, you can't do that because you'll get hurt. And I was like, oh my
That's
gosh, it
adorable.
was a whole moment of like, wait a minute. I know I'm not supposed to do that. And then Joey reminded her, yeah, because you'll get hurt. And she went, I'll get hurt? And he was like, yeah, you can get hurt. And it was so cute. It was the cutest little interaction. And it just made me feel, like you said, like it can feel very like almost liturgical to just keep like telling your
Right.
kid the same thing over and over again and you don't feel like you're getting anywhere. And then those small moments happen and you're like, oh, like, okay, maybe they're getting it. Maybe they're getting it.
Right.
So
Especially
yeah.
when they repeat what you said, because I'm assuming
Yes.
you said you could get
Yes.
hurt.
Yeah.
And then they're both like repeating
Yeah.
that. It's really cute.
They're also a little bit too afraid of cars now. I think it's a healthy fear, but
Oh.
they're a little too afraid of cars
Yeah.
now because like we'll be out in public and they'll see a car coming from like 40 meters. Like it's a long way away. And they're like, oh, it's a car. It's a car. And they'll like run up to our car and like hug the doors and stuff. Like, okay.
Aw.
All right, so let's get into today's topic, which I think is a really good one for I feel like I didn't really have any. Did you have any good resources for like people who had kids so close in age recently? Because my mom did and my mother-in-law did, and they have some awesome, like awesome advice. But raising kids back then versus now comes with different challenges. And I don't feel like I really ever had any. So I really just wanted to talk about having kids so close in age and all the challenges and blessings that come with that. Um, I would say one of the biggest challenges for me because I had Irish twins. You had twins, so I had Irish twins. So I had Joey for a full almost 11 months. It was like 10 and a half, but like 11 months before I had Mia. And I felt this guilt when it was time to like give birth. I was like, did I steal like that 11 months that could have just been for us? Like, did I steal that from him? Because, like, I was so focused on my pregnancy, or I was feeling bad, or I was this, or I was that. Like, did I steal that time that could have been just us together away from him? And my biggest encouragement was when they first met. It was like, oh my God, like, I have this amazing video of him just sitting on the floor, holding her, giving her kisses, and in that moment when they first met, I was like, "No," like, he was made to be a big brother. Like, he was born to be a big brother. He is the best big brother still to this day, but in seeing them together, I realized, like, I was so worried about, like, their time and our time, and did I mess it up with him? Did I mess up our relationship? But I feel like my relationship with Joey has gotten even deeper just daily, just because that's what happens with kids. And then, with Mia, I mean, she was born to be a little sister. Like, the two of them are just, like, the cutest little pair. So, if you're worried about that, about having 2 under 2, or dealing with, having a baby so close and the guilt that comes with that, I would say one of the big things is just wait till they meet. Wait till they meet. It is, like, the best feeling on the planet, and it's so worth it. It's so, so, so worth it.
Yeah. So for me, like, having twins, because my brain never thought of twins until the morning of the ultrasound. That morning, I was like, I wonder if you'd like to have twins. I was like, I'm never gonna have twins ever. So, like, I've never, like, thought about it. Never was like, oh, I want twins, or it'd be cool. That's just, like, I never thought of it. But it was kind of intimidating thinking about it. But I kept telling myself, okay, well, I'd rather have twins first, because then I don't have, like, a toddler, like, running around while I'm trying to take care of these two. But I feel like once they were born, so, like, full disclosure, I'm not a big baby person. Like, I think that as my kids get older, I'm becoming more of a baby person. Like, looking back at pictures and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, they were so little, like, and stuff. But I've always been, like, a toddler. Like, I love ages, like, 2 to 4. It's so fun. It's, like, and I like older kids, too. But, like, that age is so fun because they're still snuggly, cuddly. They still, like, think you're the coolest person in the world. But they also are so very, like, independent and self-sufficient. But when they were born, being not a baby person, it was, we had a lot of people here to help, which was nice. But I always had this feeling of, like, I don't have an oldest. Like, I only have two kids. There's no oldest, there's no youngest, even though one's 6 minutes older. And kind of just, like, trying to get around that, like, mentally, like, thinking, okay, I don't have time to just spend with this one kid. Like, I have to spend time with both of them if I'm watching them. And it was kind of hard, like, to get one-on-one time. But, like, looking back on it now, like, now that they're older, and people always say, like, oh, like, it gets easier. Like, I'd meet twin parents out and about, and, you know, they'd have, like, oh, we have 30-year-old twins, we have 25-year-old twins and stuff. And I think looking back on it now, I'm really close to them, and I get to do one-on-one time with them all the time, because now that they're older, they can be doing something and playing instead of just laying there in a boppy, because that's what babies do. And I feel like there's not, like, Matthew's a little more attached to me than Michael. He always is like, where's mommy? If he hears me, like, coming home and he's supposed to be in bed, where's mommy? Like, he loves being with me. So he's usually the one that ends up doing more one-on-one time with me. I'll go to the grocery store with him and stuff while Michael's still napping, because Michael loves to sleep. But it's hard. And then we had Maddie, like, 16 months after the boys were born. But that, like, people were like, oh my gosh, you're crazy. You have 3 under 1.5. And I was like, yeah, it's hard. Like, people all the time, your hands are full. I'm like, yeah, duh. Like, obviously. Yeah. Like, I have 3 little kids. But now, like, I can't even imagine how fun it's going to be for them when they're in college, if they all go.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They're going to be in college together. And same with your kids. Like, they're all so close. And seeing their relationship. So my kids were not like Joey. Like, the boys, when Maddie was born, they were scared of her. They did not want to get close to her. They wanted to avoid her. But now, like, they want to go wake her up. They're like, "Where's Maddie?" And if she starts to make any noise, they
Aww.
run and open the door and they're like, "Maddie!" And just seeing like how much fun they have, just the three of them. So even though if you have kids close, I think like you said like, wait till they're born. But if your kid is like mine, doesn't like their sibling when they're born, don't worry, it does get better.
Yeah.
Even when they're older. And so yeah, it's just know that
Yeah.
it does get easier. I know people say that and it probably doesn't seem like that, but it really does definitely get easier.
Yeah. It does. And it is very difficult to spend one-on-one time. I find that even now, even though, so my kids are 1, 2, and 3, and I find it really hard, really hard to find one-on-one time with them, even still, just because nap schedules and all the things. I feel like I'm always with all of them. I'm not really ever with them one-on-one, but that's something that I don't feel like I have heard from, or like, okay, I don't feel like a lot of moms who have one child understand where I'm coming from with that. Cause like I've made posts about this before and I've gotten some people who are like, well, you should just spend more one-on-one time with them. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's the solution.
Right.
That is the solution.
That'll be a great
How do
thing.
It's easier said than done. I feel like with my kids, especially, like each one of them has so many needs, and each one of them has different needs, and each one of them I'm trying to meet the needs of at the same time as trying to meet the needs of the other two. And so it's hard to find the balance there. But I think something that I've started doing with Mia has really opened up my eyes to like, it doesn't have to be like an hour. It doesn't have to be like this big, long, drawn out thing. It could
Mm-hmm.
just be a few minutes and it means so much to them. Mia, she's a snuggler. She's my only snuggler. My other two kids, they don't like to snuggle. And my middle child, she loves to snuggle. She loves blankets. She loves cuddles. She's very touchy feely, very introverted. So, she in the mornings has been waking up and coming into my room, and she gets up on the bed under the covers and she snuggles into bed with me while Tim gets up Joey and Amelia and puts them at the table for breakfast. She just snuggles in bed with me, and Tim brings me coffee and brings her juice, and she drinks her juice while I drink
Oh,
my
that's
coffee and we
so
snuggle
cute.
in bed. And we've done this every morning for the last like month. And her face lights up when she sees me in the morning. She comes in the room and she's like, "Hi, Mama." And I'm like, "Hi, baby. You coming to snuggle?" And she goes, "Yeah." And she always brings her own soft blanket and she
Oh,
climbs into bed and she lays the blanket over top of me as well. And we just snuggle. And it's only like 10 minutes every morning, but it means so much to her that like the one morning I didn't have time to do it, she actually was so sad, and it really like jarred me because I was like, to me it means a lot, but like I didn't realize how much it meant to her. So we weren't able to do it one morning. It was Easter Sunday and we had to get ready for church, and we weren't able to do it that morning, and she was so sad about it. And so now I'm like, okay, on mornings when I don't think I'm going to have time, we do it extra early because
mm,
those short stints of time are so important to her that I'd rather her have it.
right.
And I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know how long she's going to want to do this. I don't know when she's going to want to stop coming and snuggling in bed with me. So I want to soak it up while it lasts. And it's been really good. I really like that. And I have other things that I do with Joey and Amelia, but this one in particular has really warmed my heart recently. But it's something that you don't really ever have to think about until you have more than one child,
Yeah.
is the intentionality of setting time aside for each individual children, like each one of your individual children. So,
I've also heard that if you spend 5 to 10 minutes of quality time a day with your kid, like you are focused on them, it also affects their behavior a lot. And I've actually noticed that with the boys that like if they just get up and we eat and we're not sitting with them, we're not talking to them, they're just eating and then playing, they get so crabby. But when we take
yeah.
time to like actually do stuff with them, they are a lot better. And something which is hard for me to do this in particular, but somebody had told me what they do. They had 5 kids. And I love this idea. And it's a little more for when they're older. I mean, you could start it now too.
Yeah.
But it's so the day that they're born. So the boys were born on the 15th. Obviously, they both were born on the 15th. So I'd have to change up a little bit. But every month that day, so every 15th of the month, you get to do like 5, 10, 15 minutes up extra at night to spend one-on-one time with your
Oh,
parents. And I love that. And my
that's
mom had
cute.
something similar to that. She called them turn-ups. And I love those. Like, as the youngest, though, usually my older siblings were coming and asking questions and stuff. But she would randomly do that here and there. So it's kind of that concept where, like, we'd stay up and have a snack and play one little game or something together or draw or do something.
That's a
Um,
great
yeah. And
idea.
then,
I love
every
that.
day of this month, you get to stay up a little longer and do something with me. So, like, you could even
Dude, I
start
kind
that
of want to
now. But
start that.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds so cute. Oh my gosh.
Like a little
I
snack
just,
before bed.
yeah, it means a lot to me that Mia has started this because it's funny. She doesn't even know. I used to do this with my mom where I
Oh,
would make my mom breakfast in bed and I would like ban my sisters from the room because they would always try to come in. So I would actually lock the door behind me. I'd bring my
that's
mom
funny.
breakfast in bed every morning and I'd lock the door and we would sit in bed and I would just like, it started when I was like preteen to teenager. So I was like 11 or 12 years old. And I would just like spill the tea of like what was going on in my life with my friends, with my siblings, who I was upset with, who I wasn't. And we would sit there and we'd just talk. And it was only 15, 20 minutes every morning. But those debriefs made our relationship like so much better than any relationship that I had ever seen with a teenage girl and her mother. And I was so thankful for those mornings. And the fact that Mia, my firstborn daughter, just like I'm my mom's firstborn daughter, started doing it on her own in the morning in my bed, like it
That's
holds a
cute.
lot of like significance to me.
Yeah.
And so I really hope she doesn't ever stop. But I'm
Right.
going to soak it up while I can. Now that we have covered kind of our topics of discussion of the day, I would like to drop a recipe that my children have been loving lately. They want it all the time. They say, barbecue, barbecue. We've been having barbecued pulled chicken sandwiches with Hawaiian rolls. Oh my goodness. My children, they love them. It's a super duper easy recipe. It just put it in the crock pot, leave it, and then dinner's ready. It's literally like 9 ingredients. So it's just the chicken breasts, barbecue sauce, um, brown sugar, apple cider vinegar, olive oil, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, and red pepper. And that's it. You just throw it all into a crock pot, let it simmer, and then you take it out, shred it, and give it to your kids. They are obsessed. And it's actually kind of awesome because my son is very picky about food. He's just like his father, and he is very, very picky about food. And when I find something that he likes and my daughters like, because my daughters will eat anything that I put in front of them, but finding something that all three of them like together,
Especially that's fast and
it's
easy to make too.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. So this has been our favorite go-to dinner recently, and we buy our Hawaiian rolls from Aldi because they're so cheap. And we just make little like barbecue sliders almost. And it has been amazing. It honestly is like a life-changing recipe in our family recently. I will leave this recipe in the description down below. Don't forget to check it out. It is super fast, super easy. Do you have a mom product that you want to share?
Yeah, so one of on the topic of twins / kids so close, one of my favorite twin mom products is definitely the Twin Z Boppy. Like, it's awesome. It was what the boys would like to sleep in a lot, and especially if you're bottle feeding twins, you just lay them in the boppy and you hold the bottles or prop the bottles up if you're in do that. But I loved it. It was awesome. It was a life-changing product for me. That product is going to be linked in the description below. All of our product links are affiliate links, so we do make some commission off of that. But we would love your support if you're going to buy the product anyway. So, and then Faith, you have one.
Yes, I have a product to share. So not currently, but I like to go get my nails done, and I like long acrylics, which is not conducive for young toddler mom life, but I have found the best product for it. It's called the Unbuckle Me, and I actually saw an ad for it, I think on TikTok, and I was like, I need that. And so I bought it, and you literally just slide it on to unbuckle your child out of their car seat, because with acrylic nails, it's almost impossible.
To
it's
get that
so
button.
hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard. Like, it's like, I mean, even typing with acrylic nails is difficult, but I figured that part out. But trying to get that button when you have acrylic nails is almost impossible. So it just slides in, and it like creates an outward button almost, and you just click it, and it's so fast. It's so easy. And it has honestly changed my life. So now I can be stylish and be a functioning mom.
And unbuckle. Yeah.
And so I will put that link in the description as well, because if you're like me and you like to get your nails done, but you don't want to have your child trapped in a car seat, this is a good product to have. All right. Well, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast, and we're excited to talk to you guys again next week. Thank you so much for listening to the Mom Squared podcast. We really appreciate you spending time with us today. Share this episode with a mom friend. Don't forget to subscribe and be on the lookout for new episodes. You can find us on Instagram at the Mom Squared Podcast, or on YouTube, also at the Mom Squared Podcast.